Hello YouTubers and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 1.0 Career Mode. We're here at the end of the first day at our time at Kerbal Space Center. The sun's just going down behind the mountain there. And we currently have a little over 500,000 funds, 112 science, and I believe we're just about 19% reputation. Now this episode is going to be a bit of a strange episode here. For two reasons. One, there's going to be long sections of fast forwarding, hopefully with music behind it because of what I plan to do, but also because this one's done in post-narration. Had a little problem with the audio and need to re-record it. So we're here in Mission Control looking for which contracts we can take. We finished off our contracts last time, and right here I see two contracts that seem easy to do and will give us a little bit of money. They are to test the Hammer solid fuel booster and the Flea solid fuel booster, both of them at the launch site or landed, which is basically the same thing. So we're going to take them both, and I mean it's going to be very simple to complete them. It's basically just fire off the parts. Don't even need a practically don't need a command module or anything like that. But the real plan here, and kind of fits into it, the visual surveys. I want to drive around and pick up all the science we can at Kerbin. Here I'm apparently just looking where that visual survey is. It's not too far, but we don't have any airplane parts, so we can't easily get there. We could try to get a rocket there, but hitting a small point that those are, I think they're only 1 kilometer or 2 circles. So because we have 112 science, we can go unlock some airplane parts. So let's take a look at the tech tree here in the R&D center. We've finished off all that level, and so the next level is all the 45 science techs. First one is advanced rocketry, and this one would be pretty useful. It's got the more efficient upper stage engine that's pretty efficient out of the atmosphere, so that would be useful. It's also got a larger fuel tank, which would be useful because we currently have a part count limit of I believe it's 36 parts, so those would be useful. General construction is the next available tech, and this also has some useful things such as the strut connector, or the space tape holding your ships together. It also has the launch stability enhancer, which greatly helps once we get to bigger ships, although not quite as useful right now. The other things like the structural fuselage isn't too helpful, and the big decoupler and size adapter aren't really useful right now because we don't have any other large parts, so they're not as useful. Next is aviation, and this would be pretty useful. This would allow us to build basic planes, so we could do that visual survey, and it would allow us to build a little car to go around the Space Center, because each building is now a different biome, and I definitely think I'll be picking this one up so that we could do that. The next is flight control, and it has another cockpit, and it has the inline reaction wheel, which could be useful, especially with the aerodynamics that tend to push your rocket around more. And it's got a controllable winglet. I believe right now we just have straight winglets. Yeah, that winglet right there. So a controllable one would definitely be useful. The final one is basic science, and this includes a probe body, a battery pack, which would be very useful, and a thermometer, which would be another science instrument, which would allow us to gather more science. So that would be very useful as well. So I think I am going to take aviation, so we could build the ships and the little science car, or whatever we want to call it, with the air intake and the rocket and wheels to get around. So let's take that, and we're also going to take basic science for the thermometer, so while we're doing this we can get temperature readings as well, and of course the battery and the probe body is going to help out too. Okay. This is the vehicle I have built. I'm calling it the science car, and this will allow us to get both contracts and then drive around and gather science from around Kerbal Space Center. We got a jet engine in the back. We got 2 of every science device, the 2 materials bay, 2 goo canisters, and 2 temperature. So we can go around and collect everything that we need and get lots of science. We got 3 wheels here. The front wheel is a steerable wheel while the back 2 are fixed. That should make it act like a standard car driving wise. We don't have ladders yet, so I have added on these winglets that I've angled down that hopefully the Kerbal will be able to jump on and walk up to get back to the cockpit so we can go out and get some EVA reports. In this case, it's going to be a scientist because he'll then also be able to walk around the top and reset all the science devices. So we have Bob the scientist in the cockpit. We don't really need piloting skills for this. It's a relatively simple vehicle. So Bob will get on top, pull the data, the science out of all the science devices, testers, experiments, if you want to call them that, and then be able to reset them so we can drive over to other locations and get more science. So it's all one trip. And we'll be launching off the rockets first to complete the contracts. And that will give us a little bit of money, and then we'll go on to drive around. So that's about it for this vehicle. We'll be heading out to the runway and testing it out. The runway actually does count as a launch site for the Hammer contract. So let's go out there now. Alrighty, here we are on the runway. We got our contracts to do first, so we'll be doing them first. As you can see, it counts as a launch site, it counts as landed, but looks like we need to adjust our staging. So let's get the correct decoupler with the correct engine, and actually let's flip the stages around so we are doing the smaller rocket first. Alright, we are going to do that in just a moment here. Decouple and launch it, and then decouple and launch the larger one. So we are going to do that now. And wow, it looks like the weight of the decoupler has made that small rocket spin out of control and impact. But we completed the test, and yeah, the decoupler is only on one side, so it apparently tends to make these roll. So in 3, 2, 1, launch. That one, apparently because it's got more thrust, isn't leaning as much. Let's try to get a good look. And although it is slowly curving over and impact. Okay. So that completes those 2 contracts. Now we are ready to drive off and get some science. But first, actually, we can get some science right here on the runway. This is a biome of itself, so let's observe the materials bay. Materials show little signs of change, though one of the samples appears to be judging you silently. Okay, isn't that great? Next, we're looking at the thermometer temperature. They're quite literally nominal. That's good to know. And let's get a goo reading. It does the same thing it pretty much always does around here. Alright, that's good to know. We can also get a crew report. Good thing there's not a lot of air traffic, because yeah, we didn't actually get clearance to be here. Let's keep that data. And we need to get out on an EVA and walk up and down now. You can see they aren't hitting. They're close, but they're not hitting, so that's pretty good. So let's get out on EVA. And let's try an EVA report here. Okay, this is counting as flying over the shores, which we already have. So let's climb down. And apparently climb out, whatever that means. Oh, there we go, I think. And just walk right off the edge. And let's get an EVA report. Yeah, spacesuit wasn't really necessary to get there. But we do have the science now. So let's turn him around and see if we can jump on up. Oh yeah, that's pretty easy. And now we just climb up the kind of handholds on the side of the cockpit. And we can get in. And I think we're ready to go. Actually, let's do a reset to show you how that will work. So let's take all the data out of the cockpit so we can do another crew report. And it looks like we need to get closer to the materials bay. Maybe it's closer still. There we go. You see there's collect data. I'm going to remove it. It says it will render it inoperable, but it will require science to restore functionality. And hey, Bob is a scientist, so that's good. Let's remove the data. Now we can remove or collect the data. Same thing from here. Now we can click restore, and it takes just a second or two, and it's all restored back to operational condition. So we're ready to collect data again with those same devices. There's 2 of each, so we really only need to do that every other location we stop. But other than that, let's get ready here. Let's make sure we're got everything, and looks like it auto-saved. So we gotta there's no lights on these wheels like the standard landing gear have, but I guess that's why these are the cheapy ones. Alright, we've got our engine going, and turn off the brake, so away we go. We want to be careful not to get going too fast. We don't want those front fins to actually start lifting up. Alright, we're going to go off the edge of the runway here because it's a bit rough, and then going down the slope here, and oh, what was that? Oh, it looks like we lost the one fin as we hit the ground there, or flattened out, so we have to be careful of that. Some of these buildings have little ramps about them. Oh, what was that? That was not good. Looks like we lost the other fin, and oh, we also apparently lost our engine. Well, we're still coasting here, and we are trying to get over to the tracking station. So let's see if we can coast and try to get it over there. We aren't really slowing down much, so hopefully, as long as we don't apply the brakes, we'll be able to get to the tracking station. But that's probably going to be the last location for this vehicle. Oh, we got another downslope there. It's kind of hard to see where they are. It's gotten quite dark. And upslope here, and alright, we are just barely still rolling forward. And let's get ready to stop, but this will be the final stop for this vehicle. Alrighty, let's gather what science we can. Get a crew report here. Observe the materials bay. It's still judging us silently. Goo observation. And let's take a temperature reading. Temperature reading now. Still nominal. Alright, I'm going to try to get an EVA report, but we're probably not going to be able to get Bob back in. We can leave the science we have in the vehicle because we'll be recovering that. Yeah, we're just trying to get over here from the administration building and went down the slope wrong and knocked everything off. I'm not sure how the engine got knocked off, but we still have to get over to the mission control building over there, and also to the launch pad. We haven't gathered science from the launch pad or from mission control yet, so we may bring out a variant of this vehicle to complete the other places. Alright, let's get Bob out here and get a EVA report. And he's just sliding off. Actually slid down decently. Let's get that EVA report. Yeah, spacesuit probably wasn't necessary. Let's see if we can try to get him to grab that. Oh, it said grab there for a second. Maybe we can get him to grab that ladder and get back in. There. Oh, that somehow he got under the car there. That wasn't that great. Maybe we can jump and grab it. Let's try to get him positioned a little bit better. Alright, jump, Bob, and grab it. Oh, there we go. Oh, don't. Oh, he slid off. Alright, it's doable though. Let's try that again. Jump. Oh, I guess that was a little too close. And jump and grab. Almost. There we go. And alright, we're on. Can we get in now? Board? Guess we had to grab again to board. Alright, we're gonna recover this, make a new car. Doesn't need the solid rockets anymore, and we'll be right back. Alright, here we are. We gathered 120 science just then, which is quite a lot. And we got some crew reports from the tracking station and temperature scans from the runway and material study from the space plane hangar and mystery goo and all sorts of other things. Let's briefly scroll through here. You can see all the different science we gathered from all the different biomes. I think I hit everything. Not sure why things are out of order. I'm not sure what order they show up in. It'd be nice if they were in either the order you gathered them or by biome. But yeah, we got a lot of science. Most science yet for our fledgling space program. So next on to parts. You can see we got a decent return on value. We got, basically all the parts recovered, except obviously the two fins and the engine, which cost the most. You can see we got a little over 9,000 back. I believe it cost about 13,000 for the whole ship. So we're going to now make a new one, and see you then. Okay, I got a new car all made up, but it's getting really dark out and making things hard to see, especially those slopes. So let's hit this button here and time warp to daytime, and there we go. Sun's just come up, and we're gonna click on the runway here and bring out Science Car 2. See, this one's only at 10,000. I have only one copy of each science item on it. This makes it a little smaller. I've also adjusted the placement of the wheels and the fins. And yes, we don't want Jeb to pilot it. We want Bob, so we can reset those science devices. Get as much science as we can. So let's launch it here. Alrighty, here we are on the runway. Let's hit the brakes so we don't go rolling off here. You can see we got no oxidizer. The jet engine doesn't need it. I didn't have any in the first one either. But you can see we have a much higher stance here. I've angled the little struts out, the girders, and that raises the engine quite high off the ground, so it shouldn't hit on any slopes anymore. Additionally, I've raised the fins that we're using as ladders, so they're also quite a bit higher off the ground, although they should be able to still be climbed up on. So let's get ready to go here. Release the brakes, throttle up a little bit, and let's see how this works. I'm going to turn here and try to go up and down all these slopes perpendicular, and yeah, that worked out much better. The engine was far off the ground, and also the fins didn't hit either. Okay, you've probably just seen in the fast forward a few places that I pointed out where we've already been, and there's a few other special locations around here. Specifically, we should be at the shores, but I'm being told here that we're still at KSC, which is also where the astronaut complex registered. So I am going to try to go out to the anomaly that you saw. So let's head there now. Okay, we are approaching the anomaly here. Let's apply the brakes and stop next to it. Actually, wow, we stopped right next to it. It's better than I could have planned. It looks like this anomaly has kind of sunk into the ground, but let's get out and take a closer look at it. And we're still reading as being at KSC. Alrighty there, yeah. The anomaly it's a big black rectangle that has the squad logo on it. It's a little hard to see at this angle. But I think it had the squad logo and said squad beneath it, and definitely half the logo is cut off, so definitely looks like the anomaly has sunk into the ground at some point. Let's get a EVA report. Oh, that's weird. Now it's saying we're at the shores, where our report just a second ago said KSC. Well, we do want data from the shores. That would be more data. We may have one or two of these already done, so let's climb aboard again and try to get this data. Alright, climbing up there and board. Let's do another crew report. Alright, now this one says the shores as well. Let's keep that data. Do some material bay. Samples, what? Is that interference from the anomaly? That's a little weird. Haven't seen that one before. Let's get a crew report. Yep. And the temperature reading. Hey, let's go for a swim. Alrighty. We're here at the shores. We've gotten shores data. We could probably get data from the water, but that would be the last thing we did. But we haven't gotten data from the grasslands yet. See, the water's close by, and the grasslands are close by, so let's go there. Okay, here we are at the grasslands. You can see we're quite a bit of ways away from Kerbal Space Center. Let's get out on EVA and collect the data, because we did not do that at the anomaly. So we've taken all the data, mostly just so we can take the crew report. Let's collect the data from the Science Junior and reset it. And the same thing for Mystery Goo and the thermometer. Now we can get an EVA report. Yeah, really didn't need a spacesuit. And let's get back in and collect data for the grasslands. Do a crew report here. Looks like we already got crew report from when we flew to the grasslands. A little bit of data, but it's mostly repeating what we did last time. But temperature's new, so that's good. Alright, we can probably turn the ship now from here. We are quite a ways away from Kerbal Space Center. Actually, that's going to lower our monetary return if we just collect the ship now. If we recover vessel, we'll probably only get 95%. So if we drive back to the runway, we should get 100%. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, we have just recovered Science Car 2 and 19 more experiments were recovered. Different Mystery Goo and EVA reports and such. Got 55 science from that. We've got 100% return value on the car, and nothing broke off this time. So the only thing we really lost was a tiny bit of fuel, like 2 or 3 units of fuel. Actually, just under 2. So we have still a bunch of funds there, a little over $500,000. We got Bob back. No XP gain this time, but it was the same mission as before. We now have 197 total reputation. We have a little over $500,000 funds. I think it's a little bit higher than when we started because of the 2 contracts we completed. We also have 199.6 science now, which is quite a bit of science that we can spend next time. Hopefully I won't have the audio issues and won't have to do post commentary or so I'll see you guys then, and thanks for watching this episode of Kerbal Space Program.